Hello everyone and thank you for joining me. Today I just thought I'd do a very quick video. As you know, I haven't been very well and I had to get to a hospital appointment this morning, and I'm on really high dose antibiotics, so feeling a bit sick, and I really wanted to put some makeup on um, because it just lifts my mood and it lifts my spirit if I go out and I've got makeup on. I don't like going out makeupless. But with everything that's been going on and the tiredness, I just didn't have very much time. Now, I knew what I do when I go to my podiatry, foot health, is I have to leave a little bit of extra time because you never know if you're going to get parked there. So when I arrive there, then I normally have about 10 minutes. So it's a case of like often putting on makeup in the car. And I wanted to share some tips with you because I think this might be useful for you all. So, as I said, didn't have a lot of time this morning. So I cleansed my face. No time for kind of foundation. So what I did is I put on tinted sunscreen, and the one that I use, I'll put the details below. But I use the Ultrasun anti-pigmentation tinted sunscreen. Now for my for my skin tone, it's okay. If you're a lot fairer than me, it does tend to look a bit orange. But if you find a tinted sunscreen, then you've got your sunscreen, you've got your moisturizer, and you've got your base already on before you go out the door. Okay, so that's what I did, is I cleansed, I put on my sunscreen with tint in it. So I had my kind of foundation. And then basically then what I always look to do was I wanted a little bit of powder to just take the shininess away a little bit in places. So what I did is I picked up 4 items, and I'm going to show you what they are. I'll just come back because I need to find the other one. Okay, so basically what I did is I picked up a powder foundation. Now, I often use this as a powder. I think it's really good to have a powder foundation. Now, a lot of people, certainly if you're a similar age to me, they tend to keep away from powder foundations because using it as a foundation can dry you out, and it can make wrinkles, kind of accentuate wrinkles and fine lines. So people tend to veer away, but I actually think it's good to own a powder foundation because you can actually use a powder. You don't have to use it as a foundation. You can use it to set your makeup and give you a little bit of extra coverage where you want it. As you know, I use this a lot of the time to cool down some of my warmer foundations because it's actually a cool tone powder foundation. But there's a lot of uses for this. Now, I thought I'll use this as my powder and also to give me a little bit of extra coverage once I look at myself in the car mirror. I can actually, it will go perfectly over my tinted sunscreen. Okay, so that gives me a little bit. So it's something you could keep in your car as well, because it'll go over your moisturizer, it will go over your foundation. It's a very versatile product, not just this one. This is by MAC, and I'll put the details below. But if you get a powder foundation, you don't need to just use it on its own as a foundation, okay? So that was the first thing I slung into my bag. And then basically you're looking, as you know, I've always said pigment is pigment. So you don't need to think, oh, I need an eyeshadow, I need a blusher, I need a lipstick, get away from that thinking. You're in a rush, right? And you need a few items that you can quickly sling in your bag. So basically what you need is something to shade, something to highlight, and something to colour. That's it. Now, one of the tips is you can see that my lipstick is quite a bold lipstick. Now, if you want to do your makeup in a hurry, I would definitely recommend a bold lipstick, because a bold lipstick will immediately make you look far more made up than you would be if you didn't have a bold lipstick. It's not the time for kind of your nude lipsticks when you've got to do only a few items very quickly, okay? Unless you really want that. But I think if you want to look made up, then you go for a strong lipstick. So I picked a strong tone lipstick. Now, this is one I picked up only the other day. And it's actually, I picked this up. I was going to do a little review about it. It's actually called Superstay Vinyl Ink. And these remind me very much of the Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks that I was showing you the other day that she bought out before. And I'm going to put the name of them underneath. But they came out a while back. And liquid latex, that's it. That's what they were called. And I wanted to find a dupe because a couple of you were interested. They are very much like the liquid latex lips, except they last a lot longer. They don't come off as much. Look, if I press this lightly, it doesn't come off on my fingers. And they really do last long, so I recommend these. Right, so this was my colour. So don't think lipstick. Think I want a colour, I want a shader, and I want a highlighter, right? So this was my colour. Then my shader, I threw in Beautiful Skin bronzer. And then my highlighter was this that I got in the drugstore the other day, which was Revolution, the Bright Light, okay? And then, of course, a brush. And I just wanted one brush that was going to serve my powder, was going to serve my bronzer, okay? And so this is what I chose, which is the brush that goes with the Beautiful Skin bronzer. Okay, now let's take off these glasses, because obviously I've not got a full face of makeup on. But when I got to podiatry, she said, "You're looking well, your makeup looks nice." And I've hardly got any on. But I have got sunscreen. Now, what I did when I arrived at the hospital with 10 minutes to spare even, is I got my brush, my Beautiful Skin bronzer brush, and I swirled it around in my foundation, my powder foundation, and just put this over these points on my face. There's still a bit of a glow, as you can see, but it doesn't matter. I just wanted to put it in certain places. And I also put it under my eyes to get rid of the shine under my eyes, so you don't see these dips as much, but also to give me a little bit of extra coverage under my eyes, so I haven't just got sunscreen, okay? So I did that, did the powder quickly. Then I got my Beautiful Skin bronzer, and I used it as a bronzer all over my face. Then I took the brush and I squeezed it like this, and I quickly put some in my eyes. Now, it doesn't really look like I've got anything on my eyes, but if you saw me before, you will see that it's given me a bit more definition to the eyes. Okay, it just defines your eyes a little bit more. So you just take your bronzer and just do that, and immediately you've got a bit more of a polished look. So I used that. Then I took out my little highlighter pen. Now, this was something like £2, £3. I'll put the details below. And it's like a wand, like Charlotte Tilbury wand. Let me just come back, because I'm holding my camera at the moment. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's like a concealer wand, but it's got a highlighter on it, as you can see, and it's champagne coloured. Okay, so with this, I quickly pop some onto my lids. Now, obviously, this is not going to last me that long. You can see it's already kind of settled into fine lines. But it was enough when I was out to just give me a bit of highlight on my lids. I put a little bit down my nose, and as you can see, I put a little bit over my lips there to just highlight the lips. I put a little bit under my brows, right, and down the centre of my face, and that was it, and also on the highlighty areas there. Okay, so that's how I use my highlighter. And then last but not least, I put on the lipstick. I used it on my lips, obviously. I used it on my cheeks. Now, you can, if you want. I'm just going to take the lipstick. Just bear with me a second. This is a lipstick on a doe foot, which is actually really helpful because it means that you can really get definition without having a lip liner. But it also means you can really target it on your cheeks as well and rub it in. It's a liquid, so it's easy to blend in. But also, if you want, you could always put a dab. If you want a bit of colour on your lids, I would do this before the highlighter. You can also just take a tiny blob of this and then put that onto the lids like so. And your look will come together because they're the same products on your lips, your cheeks. Then take your highlighting wand, which I will get. Take the highlighting wand and just pop some of this on the middle. Like so. And then I'm going to show you the trick again because I'm going to top up the bronzer so you can see what I did. But it really is very effective at giving you that definition. Okay, so I've loaded up my bronzer and I'm just going to do this and do this. And as you can see, it will just give you that look of, you can just use your fingers and then just clean up the sides like that. And it will just give you that bit of definition. And then anything left over, I'm just going to take that so that I don't put it back in my handbag with loads of bronzer on it. And I look okay. I mean, it's not a full face of makeup, but it's passable. And as I said, I got into Foot Health and she said, oh, I like your makeup today. Okay, so just to recap, you use a tinted sunscreen instead of your moisturizer, instead of your foundation, and instead of your sunscreen. You've got all three in one. So you put that on instead of your moisturizer before you go out the door. Then you take a powder foundation just to give you that extra coverage where you need it. And you can do that by, I'm going to show you something else. One second. So look, you can use this with the brush, like this, to go over. But you can also dip your fingers in your powder foundation, like that, and just dab some. Pat it under your eyes to give you that little bit of extra coverage. Like so. And don't forget, because you're putting this now over a cream product, because you've got your sunscreen underneath, which is a cream product, it's not going to define fine lines as much. I think what the mistake that people make or think about with a powder foundation is that they apply it onto dry skin. If you do that, that's fine if you've got really oily skin. It's great if you've got really oily skin. You can just use the natural oils in your skin to soak up that powder and it'll be fine. But if you haven't and you've got a dehydrated skin, that's when people think, oh, powder foundation, not for me. But it's such a versatile product. So that's how I would use the foundation. And as you can see, just patting some over the fact that I've got my tinted sunscreen, patting that over the top has actually just given me a little bit of extra coverage. And some of these powder foundations, I'm not sure if this has it, but some powder foundations have got a bit of SPF in them as well. So you actually get a bit more SPF coverage under your eyes, which is a good thing. I hope these little tips have helped you to see that if you're in a hurry, how you can kind of quickly, with a few products, and as I said, all I put in my bag was this, 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 and this. Hope you've enjoyed today, and I'll see you all tomorrow.